All right. So can I first of all start by thanking you very, very much for your time on this, and if you'd like to introduce yourself and give us some background, I'll stop banging my bracelet on the table.
Yep, no worries, you're welcome. Rod Byfield, I'm the General Manager of Business Improvement Services and the CIO, Chief Information Officer for Metro.
Cool. Now, I wanted to talk to you today about this very strong push that Metro seem to be having in relation to moving to your green card. It's called green card?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So can you provide us with some background as to the direction you came from and that you're moving towards?
Yep. So, before my time at Metro, there was a decision made to move from, I guess, a pure paper system into a green card type system or smart card system.
Mm-hmm.
I came into Metro at the tail end of that project and actually ran the final implementation of it. And then during that time, I guess I've been working on mechanisms to provide a better level of service through the smart card system. So that's the online payment system, applications that hook into the green card as well. Giving people the ability to, become almost contactless as far as agents are concerned and things like that. So.
Right. So if we go back a step, the original smart card, the original green card, what did that do?
Well, basically it was really just a wallet. So it's put money on it that enabled you to jump on a bus, tap on, and away you go. It was quite simplistic. We were unable to understand, I guess, journey patterns or information.
Right. So no traceable data from it?
Not a lot, no. I mean, very simplistic information. Now we've got an Oracle database sitting at the back that crunches all the numbers, and we run a business intelligence system on top of that enables us to get a whole heap of rich information out based on how people travel, what the peak times look like, and things like this, and what the value of that green card is at the end of the day. Because we can see the cash transaction and we can see the green card transaction, and there's a very deliberate and clear time difference between the two. And quite often the cash transaction can take up to and more than a minute, where the green card transaction will take either around or less than 10 seconds.
Oh, so you're talking about efficiencies on the bus. So if I get on the bus with a green card, I'm swiping and going sitting down.
Yep.
But as I do, because I'm a naughty girl, I haven't got a green card yet.
Yep.
Standing there trying to find the right change. I don't catch buses very often, so I've got to remember what the fare is.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then waiting for the driver to sort that out, print the ticket.
Yep. And it seems quite common that most people tend to look for their change just before the bus arrives. So, as you would, you don't tend to pre-prepare for things like that. So.
Yeah, cool. So what sort of data are you capturing with the cash transactions?
So we can see the type of ticket that's purchased. It enables us to see the type of ticket or type of transfer. With the paper ticket we can't see the type of transfer, but we can see where they've got on, what their journey length should be, which is, I guess, a point of error, because it could be anything, but whatever the person's chosen to take, we believe. And then the cash ticket basically allows us to have a record of the transaction at the end of the day, which the green card does as well. So it's quite simple as far as the amount of data we can pull out of a cash transaction.
Right, whereas the touch on, if I am going into the city, you can see exactly what stop I get off at in the city, whether I go into the mall.
I can't see the stop you get off at, but right. I can see the GIS tie-in in the system, so the actual satellite footprint of where you were at the time. The reason why we can't do that on the cash tickets is because it actually runs two fare. They call it a fare matrix. Okay, so it runs two separate ones, one for the green card and one for the cash tickets. The cash tickets have no understanding of location or details or information about the bus or the journey or the activity. It's very simplistic.
Right.
Where the green card has the ability not only to save that information in the action list on the bus control unit, but also on the green card itself. So we're able to control that data or keep that data and get, I guess, more rich information out of the transaction that takes place on the bus from a green card.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So while on the surface it looks as if it's about trying to get rid of cash on the buses and just make things simpler, there's obviously a lot more going on in the background that is driving this initiative, and information and reliable, accurate, timely information seems to be one of the major drivers for Metro as a company.
Yeah.
Are there other things that you're finding? I mean, when we implement these types of things, we find some unexpected
I guess
change pop up.
Yeah, and there's also some elements of risk associated with it as well. I mean, while the green card might seem fairly simple to use, when someone's very familiar with a system that they've used for a number of years, especially those that may have some form of disability or something like this, to change them or dramatically force them into some form of change, can be a little bit of an issue for them. And so we need to make sure we buffer that process and also make sure that those people get a level of understanding that they can accept and also utilise with a green card and make them familiar with that. So there are a lot of unexpected, I guess, benefits. Not as many, I guess, that we've seen that are issues that have been raised by it. Because certainly when we've talked to a number of our stakeholders and even those NGOs that are out there, they've been exceptionally accepting of what we're trying to produce as far as a more or a greater take-up of green card. They see it as a major benefit to their community and the people that they have to interact with every day as well.
Yeah, cool.
So it's a really good effect as far as that's concerned. The benefits are many. I mean, the more, I guess, data and information we have about the services and the amount of or the type of patronage we get allows us to then build better systems to understand, like for instance the business intelligence system. We built a trend system in there that gives us the capacity now to see how a particular service runs at a particular time of day, what the patronage level is, what the run time is for that particular service, and we couldn't do that without green card. So the green card is giving us that rich information for us to be able to build a trend system, which then allows us to see, okay, that service is continually running a little bit late in the middle. Maybe we need to put some time in the middle of that service, or it might be a little bit late at the tail end, or it might be a little bit late early on in the journey, and that's could be caused by patronage, regular increase of patronage in that particular journey. So we now have not only the information that shows us why and how we need to add or lengthen services, but also some proof that we can then show the business and say, hey, this is the reason why we need to increase our operational cost for that particular service, because we're getting increased patronage in that particular route.
Yeah, cool.
So we can service things like that.
So that would provide you information as to what size buses you need on certain routes at certain times?
The type, even down to the speed of the journey, and also what the impact would be if a high level of people, say 80%, were using green card instead of 50-50. So we can actually evaluate that now. We can say, right, we might have to add 5 minutes into this journey because of the patronage. Okay, levels have increased. But if 80% of those people were using green card, we wouldn't have to add that 5 minutes into the journey because we'd have much faster transactions. Yeah. So there's those kind of things we can certainly understand from the BI system that comes out of that rich green card information.
Excellent. competitors, who do you sit up and take notice of in the transport space, I suppose?
Yeah, it's a funny question. We don't really, certainly Metro, we don't see us in competition with other operators. In fact, I've worked exceptionally closely with TassiLink in this role to get them on board with the green card system. So we're just about to, and this is I guess an early in for you guys. It's hot off the press. We're just about to have the Minister release the information about the finalisation of the project over the next month. And TassiLink services all the way from down past Huon right up to Launceston, all the way out to Strahan, will all be green card.
Oh, cool.
And so the idea behind that, when I first started at Metro, I seen serious limitations in the capacity for a person to plan their journey. One, we didn't have a journey planner, which meant you couldn't actually plan your journey unless you sat down and wrote it down off the timetable. And two, once you were planning your journey, you then had to look at a number of other operators to try and get from one place to another if it wasn't within an urban area. We then quite heavily started pushing towards building the journey planner, which we put up on the web a couple of years ago. We then also started to look at how we could share GIS information, which obviously we had another app developer jump on top of that, which was fantastic as well to see that other people were trying to build apps and understand how Metro works. But then, in addition to that, the capstone of the activity was to try and get another provider, another operator, to join with Metro with the green card and have that journey linkage all the way through, and potentially extend that to more operators if we can.
Yeah.
It's obviously, it's all about juggling finance and everything else as well, but that kind of service, I think, is the only way we can look at linking up Tasmania from an urban and non-urban perspective.
Absolutely. So moving towards something like the Myki card in Victoria.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Potentially so.
Yeah. I want to go back and then go forward a little bit. So when the green card first came out, how did your customers top it up? Did they have to physically go somewhere to do that, or could they do it online?
We had no agents at all at that stage, so it was just top it up on the bus or here at Springfield or any of the other depots. We decided then, after a period of time, I think it was late in my first year here, that we would open up an agency in town in the mall. And at that stage we made that change so people had better level of access in town. At the same time, we started to roll out to various agents. I think there's something like 14 around the urban areas that are news agents, basically, that people can top up their Metro Green Card with. But of course, we've got 220 assets that run on the road that you can top up your Green Card with as well every day. So
now can you top it up online?
Yes, you can also top it up online and through the app as well.
Yeah, because there's an issue of access, isn't it? I think we sometimes get carried away with ourselves where we think everybody has access to online. So so that's a good point. Probably from a bigger picture, though, for some of the students that won't necessarily understand, who does Metro answer to?
So we have 3 bosses.
Lucky you.
In fact, we have 4, to be honest. We have the Metro board, which is an independent board. You then have the treasurer. So that he's a 50% stakeholder, and you have Department of State Growth, and we have 2 areas that we need to answer to in Department of State Growth, and that's the Transport Commission, and the other one is I'm not sure if it's the same department anymore, but it's just about to be changed. So it's basically our contract holder who holds the urban contracts for all operators within urban areas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's important that they understand that you can't just work in isolation. That you do have people that you have to answer to, and providing services to the community,
Yep.
you've got to answer to somebody who just can't do what you like with your own business.
That's right. In fact, there are quite specific boundaries around our contract requirements. There's a schedule called Schedule 7. That schedule defines the type of services we need to run in each of the areas, and it's basically divided up into small pockets around Hobart and the other urban areas like Launceston and Burnie.
Yeah, cool. Do you have a picture of who your customers are? You know, like if you had to prototype them, how would you define?
Again, the green card gives us a good split of that now, because we have adult concession, student concession, TPI. We have just your adult generic green card, there's probably 2 or 3 other splits that we have. So just straight student, free student, I think there's one other student category that DSG require, the Department of State Growth, but it's only a very small user base. But the vast majority of our patrons are students. We're heavily student motivated, which is good. And as most public transport agents are, I mean, during the school year they're heavily utilised by students and should be. We have a reasonably healthy adult and adult concession market as well. Probably not as healthy as other capital cities, but that's maybe indicative of the Hobart area and the surrounds and the I guess the economic pressures that are different from capital city to capital city.
Yeah, population must be a limitation for us. We just don't have, while you don't want Hobart to grow too much, but it's limited by the resources that can be provided for a smaller population, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
That balance. Okay, I suppose to close, what's next on your agenda?
What's next? Well, there's a lot of plans for Metro. It all comes down to how well we can negotiate those plans with those stakeholders, and whether they support them fully or not. There is obviously political leverage that we have to work with, but certainly I would love to see a better integration of operators. I think that's really important for the Tasmanian community. Some form of extension past what we've done with TasiLink, I think, would be absolutely brilliant for the community. Yeah. And also for the green card. I mean, I guess one of the background ideas, or maybe even an ideal with the green card that I've had, is that it could almost stand alone from Metro, that it could be an independent product. Yes. That possibly the state could split off at some stage. I don't know, that's probably a conversation I need to have with the CEO, but that's certainly the way I viewed it myself, that at some stage it could be an independent product that operators could utilise as the serviceable facility for payments of all public transport. Yeah, and you might get more buy-in if it was that's good. Closing question, why green card? Why was it called green? I don't know the answer to that, other than some speculation. I know, having talked to Heather Hasselgrove while she was CEO, and she was very, certainly involved in the process of getting the green card on board. She had the idea that I guess it was to represent the fact that. And I'm not talking about political agendas here as far as green is concerned, but more about the fact that the state is a forest state. We have a lot of greenery, we have a lot of open areas, and so it seemed, I guess, reasonable to call it a green card and represent the fact that we are a state with great forests and an awesome place with a lot of green, fresh air.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, I did wonder about that because Metro green is the colour that you would associate with Metro, so it sort of made sense that, well, it's sort of a neutral thing, but I did wonder whether it was also incorporating that environmental statement.
Yeah.
And apart from what Tasmania is, I suppose the green card is, it's an environmentally friendly resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No paper tickets and...
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
So from that perspective, it really fits the bill well.
Yeah, overall.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.